Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Video Game Choo Choo podcast. John is out this week, so I'm in charge yet again. And today it's just me and one of my boys this week. Solon, how you doing?
I'm doing really good, Niall. I'm having a great week. Now that it's the weekend, everything is gonna be okay.
Yeah, we had the remnants of a tropical storm and a hurricane coming together this past day, and
wait, is that allowed? Wait,
yeah, there was a hurricane moving up near Iceland, and then we had a tropical storm coming on the west coast here, and there was some worry that they were going to hit each other, and
that's a tropical storm demolition derby.
Yeah, it wound up not being too bad. I think it was weird because the tropical storm kind of hit only on the west coast and the east coast somehow. The entire middle of the country missed it somehow, and it just moved up towards the Faroes, so we were totally fine. I didn't get a day off like I had been hoping for, so that was kind of disappointing, but at least nothing got destroyed this time.
I literally have never conceptualized the obvious idea that tropical storms and hurricanes can go right across the Atlantic.
Yeah.
I've only literally ever seen them in my life going left towards the east coast of the United States. And
yeah.
Why wouldn't they be able to go? They follow the currents, they follow the wind, they can probably show up anywhere. But also I never see them, there's no Pacific hurricanes and tropical storms over in my area, so it's a foreign concept that wind goes right.
Yeah, to be fair, last year was the first time we had gotten a hurricane since the 1960s, so
holy shit.
Yeah, so that was wild, but we get a couple of tropical storms a year usually. It wasn't like I said, it felt like basically nothing where I am, so
it is the news entirely, the biggest thing that's been getting me down lately is that the news has been entirely about climate change and global warming. And so anytime we hear new records being set from old time 50s, 60s, or even 40s weather patterns, it's oh, hooray, we beat a record. Wait.
Yeah.
That's not great.
Yeah. Yeah, this past year has had 3 different things here. We had our first hurricane in 50 years. We had the hottest summer we've ever had. In March, we had a blizzard for the first time that I can ever remember having a blizzard in my entire life. So,
do you ever get earthquakes?
No, thankfully.
I figured in Washington State, I don't have to worry about almost anything. Wildfires over the summer isn't kind of a new phenomenon. That's really bad and obviously a sign of things.
Yeah.
But there's the timeless classic, the only thing that, Washington doesn't have to worry about hurricanes or big tropical storms or tornadoes like the Midwest gets. The only thing we have is the Ring of Fire.
Yeah. Which
is the chain of volcanoes that if a underwater fault separates, if the plate tectonics between the west coast and the Pacific Ocean separate or move or jar in a specific way, an entire chain of volcanoes can just light up, causing a tsunami that hits the Pacific Northwest and just straight up wipes it out.
Yep.
And that one, we have a plan. Everyone here is all right, if this happens, where do we go? We go east. Do we go over the 405 or the 520? No, we don't go over either of those. Go north. We go north inland.
Yeah.
And then
go north
hit the
into
9.
Saskatchewan and just hope for the best.
So everyone's got a plan. It's all right, we got to get to the east side of Lake Washington. It takes about 15 minutes to drive there, and we have about 15 minutes from the time a tsunami warning can happen to the time it can make landfall. But we also have another 15 minutes off of that before it gets to our house far enough inland and up the hill. We should be fine right where we are, but we should probably get to the east side of the lake just in case.
Yeah.
That's the emergency plan. Every Washingtonian's got it.
Yeah, like the big thing here has always been like flooding. There was, I think it was probably 5 or 6 years ago, the whole like city was practically underwater. It looked like Venice or whatever. Like there was photos going around at the time of like people being boated down the streets because it was so bad. There was this viral image on Reddit somebody had taken of like their back door that had a big window in, like their back door was mostly just like see-through as a window, and you could like see out, and the water level was above the handle, so it was coming in the keyhole.
Whoa, that's
it's a really cool image, but really, really scary.
Oh.
I was so glad that I live on a hill when that happened, because I was like, oh, thank God, at least it's not going to come up here. But like, the entire city was just underwater.
Hey,
it's terrible.
I know it's weird for the Video Game Choo Choo podcast to talk about global phenomenons, but it is fun, and this is important because, Niall, this is like the first time you and me have gotten to just host a podcast together.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because there's literally one entire Earth between us while we podcast.
Yeah, like we probably couldn't be that much farther away. Maybe if you were in like New Zealand or something, we'd be as far away as we could be, but yeah.
No, I think that's just really cool. I think that's something special.
At least we have the internet now that we know, the world is ending in 10 years or whatever that report said.
Yep.
Yeah, like we're all screwed, so we might as well enjoy it while we can.
Speaking of enjoying it, every video game came out today.
Yeah, a whole lot of them came out.
And we kind of have a lot of news on all of them. I know I've got stories about all the games you've listed.
Yeah, we're in it now, like...
Yeah.
It felt like this season sort of started off real slow. It was as if everything that would have come out straight after Madden kind of got pushed this year back to like 2019. Almost as if there's like a huge game on the horizon that everyone is trying to get out of the way of. But yeah,
I kind of think of it as like all of these games, Forza and Red Dead Redemption, and they're all eyeballing Black Friday like it's a race. And they're like, all right, how close can we get to Black Friday without going over? But we also got to be first. So it's like this weird like balance. It's like, all right, but we can't do it at the same time as Red Dead, and we can't do it at the same time as Black Ops. And then like 2 weeks ago, like Wandersong comes out, and like all these little indie games pop out, and they're like, well, we're first. We can just literally do whatever we want, guys. We don't have to follow any of these instructions. And then all of these AAA games are like, all right, we gotta go. Everyone's gotta go.
We need out right now, or we're gonna get shut down by our publisher. Oh God. Unless you're like EA and you just decide, let's just not release it for another month. Let's let everything else come out and then just try and sneak it out, like Battlefield style. But Solon, a lot of games are coming out.
Yep.
What have you been playing? What's up?
Well, the big thing that I've been playing this week is in 1 week from today, on Friday the 19th and Saturday the 20th, we're going to be hosting a live stream for 36 hours of bad games for the Nintendo Wii. I have a large, thick pile of some of the greatest gems that you may have never played on the Nintendo Wii. You might have missed it.
Yeah. There's no shortage of shovelware for the Nintendo Wii.
We're going to have a lot of information at thegamezone.zone on the Discord, but we're raising money for takethis.org, and the entire weekend we've got so far a collection of 28 games. We're looking to get 36, so it's one for every hour. We're going to put in a new Wii game, a new disc, and just let it spin. It's going to be a competition between all of us that kind of live in my area. There's going to be a bunch of streamers that also come in and hang out, and it's going to be really awesome. But it also means that this entire weekend I've been testing them. And
oh God,
we've got, if you want to see the Black Eyed Peas experience,
Oh, and I do.
It's an experience. They didn't lie. They do not funk with your heart. Then there's also just Nintendo classics. Things like Ninjas vs. Pirates Dodgeball and Shrek Carnival games. There's a lot of carnival games that came out on the Wii.
Yeah, it's almost as if, like, a bunch of people decided, we can make a video game collection also.
It was just such a weird thing where everyone went into this console and was like, we can't decide a video game. There's not like one genre. Let's make all of them. We want to have as many gimmicks as possible. We also wanted to use it as a chance to explore the 2K games as they adapted Wii controls and wanted to add the waggle.
Right.
So we've got a whole bunch of those too, because they are $1, and that has not changed.
Did you ever play, what was it, SSX Blur, I think it was called, on the Wii? That was just, like, if you want a bad Wii game...
Oh, I'm looking for it. I'm really looking hard for it, because I played it. That was like... Small child Solon had just the most wonderful growing up. Just, you play SSX Tricky, and you love life, and you play SSX 3, and you kind of feel like you've grown up a little bit, but you're still having that same kind of fun that you've always, like, had playing SSX Tricky, and the music's bumping, and everything's great, and then you get your Nintendo Wii, and you play SSX Blur, hoping for that same magic that SSX Tricky had, and it's not there at all.
It's that game has one of that. It might be the worst controlling game I've ever played in my life.
Well, we're gonna find out in a week.
Because there's like no rhyme or reason to anything you're doing. It's just shake the Wiimote around and stuff happens.
I think Littlest Pet Shop might be able to give it a run for its money.
Oh, I can't wait.
So that's what I've been doing this week, amongst a bunch of other video games that I've been playing. What about you? What have you been playing?
I've been playing a couple of things. We talked last week, Zach talked last week about Forza Horizon 4, and he kind of sold me on it enough that I went and I redeemed the free Game Pass trial.
Good.
Yeah.
Folks should take advantage of that, especially for Forza, or if there's a game that they're... Yeah, it's a cool system.
It is. I wish more of it worked on the PC because I don't have an Xbox, and Forza is one of maybe 6 games that work on the PC, but it works really well on the PC, and I'm really enjoying it. You know, I'm not a car guy. I'm not a big racing game fan, but my time with Forza Horizon 4 so far has been pretty excellent. I'm having a great time. Zach kind of talked about his car in that game last week, which was a Mini Cooper that he had put Mr. Bean's face on.
Yes, that's right. Oh,
and
God.
souped up to the level of a supercar.
I gotta also give shout outs to Krill Factor's solo Jazz Cup cars.
Yeah.
Those are incredible.
Yeah, so I wanted to see what the most ridiculous thing I could do was, and I found the game has... Have you ever seen those cars from the late 1950s, early 1960s that were designed for one person? They're one seat with 3 wheels.
Uh-huh.
They're the worst shitty little cars in the world.
They're reverse tricycles.
Basically, yeah. They're and there's one of those in Forza Horizon 4.
Oh, hell yes. Like a little bullet car thing.
Yeah, it's like a little box that has a motor on it and 3 wheels.
Technically a car.
Yeah, and I bought one of those and I put a SpongeBob design on it. So I'm now trying to upgrade that to the level of a supercar. I'm very excited to see my little SpongeBob box race a Ferrari or whatever.
The way that I've heard people talking about Forza Horizon, what I've experienced from playing it too, is that it hits all of the beats that you could possibly hit in a racing game without compromising too much. So you get all of the classic feels of Gran Turismo, where you're gearing your cars and learning how, what the best suspension systems for each vehicle is.
Right.
And also, it has a lot of the feels of an arcade racer, like the Gotham series or any of those, where you can also just not care about those and race fun cars.
Yeah, so like it's not super, like it's not going for a GT level of realism, but it still demands you sort of try to race like a human being. You can't just hold down the accelerate button and be fine. Like you will spin out if you make mistakes and things like that, but
right.
It's like Arcadian accessible enough that it's not a game that you have to be a car person to really enjoy. So it's a nice middle
I felt like
ground,
it stopped just short of Mario Kart kind of cartooniness and really hit in the like Need for Speed kind of area for me, because that's where I come from, and it was like, oh, this is great. This is exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah, I would say Need for Speed is like a decent comparison as far as the feel of it goes. Like it's not quite Burnout levels of silly, but it leans into it where it needs to, and the weird like bells and whistles on it are fun too. Being able to customize your driver and having these like cutscenes where your driver flosses or dabs is pretty good. So
coming back to your little sponge box, when you put a giant engine in that, what does it do?
It goes really fast.
Does it just rocket off?
Yeah, it's like I haven't had the money in game yet so far to upgrade it super much. Like it's not at the level that I want it to be yet, but the speed of it, like from struggling to hit 100 miles an hour to getting it to 150 pretty easily, like it's such a weird feeling. And when you're driving around having people who are in the same world, because it like instances in other players and having them like send messages saying just like nice car or whatever. It's just like,
that's a thing. Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get that far.
Yeah, it's just like canned responses as far as I can tell. I don't think you can put in a custom like, oh hey, nice sponge box or whatever, but I would like that would be amazing.
No, that's really nice though. The only interaction I had online was having ghost cars like follow me so that they could recruit me into their clans, and I was like, no thanks, guys. Yeah,
it takes like a couple hours before you kind of get access to the open world stuff properly.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to just go from like, here's this type of race to this type.
I didn't get far enough to finish the tutorial, but I did get far enough to get into winter so I could just do donuts on the frozen lake.
Yeah.
Which was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think... What season is it in now? I think it might actually be in winter as we're recording this, or maybe spring. I'm trying to remember, because I know it changes like every week. I haven't had a chance to play it yet today. The one thing that like disappointed me was when Zach had been talking about his Mr. Bean car. I thought that you would be able to like import your own images to put on a car, so I was gonna like make a review bra car. I was gonna, just make the worst car I could possibly
make.
Right.
It sounds like, when he said it like that, it sounded like you could just put in whatever you wanted.
Yeah, but apparently you have to like actually draw it in game using the tools that they give you, which
oh god,
that was kind of disappointing. But like I get why they do that. Like the 2K games are proof that maybe you don't want people just free to upload whatever they want into the game.
I don't know. Did you see the video that came out recently? Scott put us onto it about Star Wars, the new Star Wars game that's being developed.
I did not see that actually.
Well, they have the Star Wars game is all about ships. I, for the life of me, can't remember what the title of it is. Star Wars Rogue or something. And they loaded up the ship customizer area where you can like design how you want your ship to look. And this was like maybe an hour and a half into the live stream, just talking about the game and showing it. Right. And they open up the ship customizing, and it's literally Photoshop. Like,
oh god,
it has a Photoshop-esque interface that was designed for mouse and keyboard. I think it was. I may be misremembering details, but you can draw whatever you want, add layers to it, and do all of like the lasso tool and magic wand tools that Photoshop would have. And then you can put all those decals onto your ship, onto your Star Wars mobile. And then you can make you can order a 3D print of your ship when it's all over.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Like, that is what I want. That's what these games need to have.
It's unbelievable. They buried this little detail in like 1.5 hours into a live stream about the game. And I just, it was strange to see. And Stu and Scott were like, have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you looked 1.5 hours into this live stream? And we're like, no.
I can't believe I missed that. I gotta find this. As soon as we finish, I'm gonna just at Scott and ask him where that video is, because I gotta see that. That's the kind of thing I would expect from like Star Citizen or something like.
Yeah.
But hearing it in a Star Wars game is great. Like, I can make my fuck Jar Jar ship or whatever.
This was in Star Wars Attack Squadrons. That was the name of the game.
Okay. I've never heard of that game. I don't know how I've missed that.
But yeah, the idea of being able to customize your vehicles is coming to some new levels.
Yeah, I want to customize everything in this era we're moving into of service-based everything. To me, like, if you're gonna do that whole every game is live now, you gotta give me customization. You gotta let me make the stupidest thing possible, because...
Give me the keys to your Play-Doh machine, EA.
Exactly. I mean, EA might as well do something good for once, you know?
But yeah, Forza's been awesome. Just cool as heck.
Yeah, it's really good.
A little bit of everything for everyone.
Yeah, it's my first, like, experience with a Forza game, and I'm really enjoying it, so... That's all I could ask for, really.
What else has come out this week?
Black Ops 4 came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played it for like an hour after work because that's all the time I've had to play it so far. It seems good. It seems alright. Like, I played a little bit of the beta. I mostly played the Blackout, which is their Battle Royale mode. It's a Battle Royale game, you know. It feels very, very PUBG-ish, but it's sort of geared towards a faster pace. Like, you drop on the map in that game, and within 10 to 15 seconds, you're down to like half the player pool already. It moves at a clip, which I guess is smart, because that's what you want in a Call of Duty game. You want, you know, quick time to kill. You want snappy, like, combat.
Wow.
And it feels good. Like, it feels like a smart way to adapt Call of Duty to a Battle Royale, so...
That's interesting, because the Battle Royale format is not sold just because it's like, oh, you have 100 people on the same server playing one game with one goal. That's okay. The sell of it, the reason that the design that people really get into is the pacing of a Battle Royale.
Right.
How it's this, like, long, drawn-out... Like, everyone has a chance for the first 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, like, I've placed in the top 10 in one of the 3 or 4 games I got to play, and I think that whole game lasted, like, 6 or 7 minutes.
Wow.
Like, it moves super quick. It funnels everybody together really quick. It does everything it can to sort of encourage you to be on the move and be getting engaged in combat quick. It's definitely not a game that seems to be engineered for that, like, PUBG style of I'm going to find a place. I'm going to find, a secure spot to hole up in. I'm going to get my weapons that I like and feel comfortable with. COD is much more, I'm going to get whatever is here where I land, and I'm going to go for it. That's the way it's felt to me, at least so far, but also the way the circles have formed in that game, I have been pretty far outside them each time so far, so maybe it's just as a consequence of that I feel like it's happening that way, but still, the pace that people are getting killed in that mode is very, very quick. It's very it's very Call of Duty, and I think it's actually pretty smart the way they've handled it.
That's really cool. I hope there's a time or space where people can get to finally analyze what these different Battle Royale games are doing in their scales.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how this Blackout mode develops over time, because it seems like they're trying to add, a level of customization to it, and, they're trying to chase the Fortnite thing of dances and sprays and things like that, but even on day one, that first game I tried to get into, and maybe it's just because it was the first game I was trying to get into and it was trying to, do stuff on the back end or whatever, but it took a fair bit of time to get into that first round. And I'm not sure if it's capped at 88 players, but I haven't seen more than 88 players in any round so far, which was the same for the beta that they did, so maybe they just decided...
They found the number they like, and they just went with it.
Maybe with a map this size, and the speed that they're going for, that they want 88 as the cap, but I don't know yet if that's what it actually is. But right now, it feels good. It feels stable, which is nice, which is a new thing for a Battle Royale to be. As somebody who's been playing...
Stable?
Yeah, it works. It's not broken.
Wow, what development team has time for stable?
Yeah,
that's impressive.
PUBG is only now getting to the point where they're like, oh, maybe we should optimize this and make it run well. So
maybe we shouldn't let the hackers take this over.
Yeah, I've been playing it on PS4, and I think that's a good way to play it. I'm not sure I would want to play that mode on PC. I feel like people who are going to be good on PC are going to be a little too good for me as somebody who treats Battle Royale as a thing to do for a half hour just to blow off some steam after work or whatever.
Right.
It's a very approachable Battle Royale. It's very... it's not like in PUBG where you're going to land at a building sometimes and there's going to be nothing. Every building you go into is going to have some form of weapon, probably some form of bandages. It does a good job at getting stuff in your hands quick and having you move. And that first circle closes in 2 minutes after you drop. So, it is not like PUBG where you have 5 minutes, 10 minutes to collect
orient
your thoughts
yourself.
And figure out where you're going. And, it is get down, get your weapons, go. And I like that a lot.
So the question that is on everyone's mind, and by everyone I mean my middle school students and only them, is this going to be the Fortnite killer in your esteemed opinion, Niall?
I don't think so. I think it is aiming at such a different type of player than Fortnite is. Fortnite is kind of cartoony and it's joyful in a way that Call of Duty is never going to be. I think Call of Duty feels more like it's targeting the kind of person who still plays PUBG and is asking themselves constantly, why am I playing PUBG, than it is going for the Fortnite crowd.
Do you think it's going to have any effect at all? Maybe even a positive one?
I'm not sure yet, because it is, a pretty basic battle royale as it is right now. There's nothing about it that's it doesn't have its own twist, really, if that makes sense.
Now that the school year's in full swing, I have access to all of my middle school students' Discords because they're fools and have joined me in this quest, so I know all of the statistics. And right now, the statistics I'm looking at is I am not seeing anyone playing Fortnite, but I am seeing a few playing Black Ops 4, and a couple still playing Minecraft. And then, of course, the one who has already set their Discord to say, I am playing with my wiener.
Oh, great.
Just a classic, just middle schoolers rule.
Well, I mean, it's a middle schooler, so, that might be truthful.
Love yourself.
I would be interested to hear in like a week or two from you as to whether or not they're still playing Black Ops or whether they've gone to Fortnite again.
Oh, for sure. Like, it is literally opening day, so who knows? And there's always room for both. There's no reason you can't play some really fast-paced games of Black Ops 4 and then be like, all right, let's slow it down.
Yeah.
Let's play some Fortnite and chill out for a little bit. Which seems like they might benefit each other in a really good way.
Yeah, they could. And, and Black Ops is first person, it's locked to first person, whereas...
Yep.
So it's a very different thing. Your field of view is very constrained in a way that Fortnite is really not, so... Yeah, I will be interested to see how those games play off one another, how they influence one another, if at all. And I'm going to be keeping my eye, I think, as well on just the concurrent player number on Steam for PUBG, because it's been on its way down over the past 6 months or so. Like, it's fallen off pretty hardcore to the point that it's not always the top game on Steam anymore. Like, half the time it's beneath Counter-Strike and Dota. So it's going to be interesting to see how Black Ops 4 affects PUBG, I think, as well. I'm looking forward to it, Like, I already noticed that PUBG has kind of lost some ground to, like, Ring of Elysium, even though that game has sort of had some weird stuff coming out about it. Like, yeah, like, Ring of Elysium has been doing pretty solid, like, 30,000.
Is that the one that is, like, roots your main folder and installs a...
Supposedly, yeah.
A bot on your computer that mines for bitcoins in China, as the rumor goes?
Yeah, like... The thing about Ring of Elysium is nobody seems to be able to agree on what, if anything, is going on behind the scenes with that game. Like, some people are saying it's installing Bitcoin miners, some are saying that it's sending your data to Tencent in China, and some are, like, saying it's just completely destroying your PC. Some people are saying it's nothing. The people who are complaining are people who have been, like, aimbotting and getting caught. So it's hard at the moment to figure out what's going on with that thing. Yeah, it really
it all kind of comes off though as like some orientalized like apocryphy. Like people are kind of like making this up because they're like scared of China. That's at least there's part of it. There's a little part of it that's like, all right, is this true, or are you just saying what you heard because someone else said it because it matches your narrative of a foreign game market entering what you normally think of as a Western game space?
Yeah, and I mean, like,
keep an eye on that one, friends.
Yeah, and I mean, Steam is Steam, and it's a shit show, and there's quite a lot of weird anti-Chinese sentiment on Steam, as is, especially in multiplayer games. So, who knows? I certainly can't find a consistent, like, reliable source on anything that's going on with that game. It's still not even out in Europe, because they were like, oh, European data protection laws changed and the game doesn't comply with it yet, and we're trying to figure out a way to make it comply with that. So maybe that says something about what's going on with Ring of Elysium and data. I don't know. Well, I just got an update from Playing With My Wiener, and their middle school esteemed opinion says that hopefully BO4, Black Ops 4, or as I call it, Call of Duty Black Ops will be able to kill Fortnite because of Call of Duty's cult-esque following. That's a pretty informed opinion for the 12-year-old, actually. Yeah. maybe we should get that kid on as like our middle school correspondent or something, like our ear to the ground. You can do a segment, you know.
When you work with middle schoolers, it's really intimidating because they like are smarter than you. Like playing with my wiener child calls it BO4, like just BO4, and I'm like, whoa, I'm not ready for this kind of acronym yet.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they're cooler than me. So
yeah, it's. I don't know if you started feeling this way, but like now that I'm like in my late 20s, I'm starting to feel like I'm completely becoming that disconnected, like older person now already, and it scares me. I used to be with it, and you know, now they are changing what it is, and now it's weird and scary to me. I remember the days of MySpace, you know, I miss those days. Those kids that you work with have never, they don't know who Tom from MySpace is.
Yeah, Tom ended up being not a bad guy in the scope of all of the things that could be.
He got out of there before we got to this nightmare internet, so good on him, I guess.
Yeah. As far as he just wanted to be everyone's friend, and that's kind of the extent of it.
Yeah, that's kind of all he ever did.
So we are. I want to just announce to the world that we are on day 121 of the Super Smash Bros. Universe United hype train.
Oh God!
We have 56 days remaining. The special edition pre-orders just went up, and you can now get your collectible commemorative coin, which is just a metal coin with 2 slashes in it that makes the Smash logo. It is something that any of my middle schoolers could easily 3D print. But it's cute, though, I guess. I've already picked it up, so joke's on me, really.
Yeah. Is that the one that comes with the controller?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And so
because I know that's the one John picked up as well, so...
I just grabbed that so that I could use my Best Buy discount thing, which is still so helpful with keeping up to date on these very expensive games that are coming out. But there's been a lot of leaks, and I, as you might know, I love the Smash Bros. Leaks because they tell you exactly what the zeitgeist is at any given point. And we've come to a very creative point in the metagame of making fake leaks. That the people that are making these leaks are now more dedicated than previously, because we've already seen Shadow the Hedgehog and who are the like usuals the chorus kids, like, what a deep cut, but it's like the deep cut that they always go to for every Smash game. And so now we're getting into the deep leaks, and we the newest ones is there were now videos of Arl from Puyo Puyo Tetris, or the Puyo Puyo series.
Yeah.
Arl, our favorite magician, and Steve from Minecraft continues to be the, like, that's gonna happen. And so now people are making videos to try to prove that Steve from Minecraft is in it. And so they're making their own Steve models and putting them in, like, Smash 4. So that's fun. And then yesterday there was leaks trying to point to Kamen Rider as being a playable character in the game.
That's... like, I could maybe see Arl or Steve, like, sure, but Kamen Rider, come on. Like,
Oh, did I say Kamen Rider? I meant Mock Rider from...
Mock Rider, okay.
Mock Rider
right.
series,
yeah,
which makes way more sense.
Yeah, you have Kamen Rider down in the document here. So.
No, I had Kamen Rider on the mind, and...
Sure,
like you
understandable, you know, yeah.
Mock Rider makes a lot more sense, but also is still a huge stretch and sounds really cool. And so, yeah, people are getting real creative with the leaks, and it's still fun as hell seeing how far people take it to try to, like, be on the cutting edge of fake hyper leak technology. And so yeah, that's the Super Smash news of our day. 56 days left, which means it's going to only get more, I don't want to say desperate, but it's going to feel more desperate as we get closer and closer, because Sakurai has said, we are not going to talk about the game for like another month.
Right.
So people there's nothing to go off of right now.
Yeah, and I mean, it already feels super desperate to me as somebody who, like, doesn't really like Smash Bros. And is just watching from the outside. It just seems like every day I look at Twitter and somebody is freaking out about some new leak, and it's getting real scary out there.
Speaking of things that are scary, some scary, spooky Halloween
spooky,
news.
yeah. Ooh, spooky.
Scary stuff on the horizon. Fallout 76 is going to come out. Beta testing is already going on. So all of the people who have pre-ordered, I believe, are in the open beta test. One of my coworkers, one of the teachers that I work with, she's a huge open world multiplayer person. So like Dust and
Ark or like Scum or anything like that. Rust.
Yeah, Rust. That's the one. Rust.
Right. They all have pretty much the same name. Like it's hard to differentiate them sometimes.
Rust and Dust and Fallout or Bust. And Fallout 76 is I'm getting excited for it because I want to just see like all my friends go have fun together playing Fallout. Except that the main goal of it, especially right away, is going to be trying to achieve nuclear technologies, unlocking nuclear bombs to throw at your friends, which tonally, as has been explored by Cameron Kunzelman and a couple other writers. I think Heather Alexandra also wrote something about it for Kotaku, and it's a lot textually to take in. It's an exciting time for games, but GameSpot or was it IGN? Oh, I'm going to misquote them, but they definitely tweeted out that Fallout 76, the nuclear explosions are epic. They're quote bleeping epic. Which was then a deleted tweet because it's a really weird thing to say about something that continues to overshadow all of the modern age as we know it.
Yeah.
Was that like...
As we're like in the midst of a potential nuclear crisis.
Right, as we are like, constantly in that midst.
Yeah.
And that hasn't changed for a very long time, but apparently long enough for Fallout, for Bethesda's team to like take the joke and run.
Yeah. Long enough that now outlets are calling it epic, which, like, if you use that word unironically in any sense anyway, you're kind of like, but, you know, maybe in the context of nuclear weapons, it's not the best word to be using.
What do you think that this means? This is kind of the question that's on everyone's mind around this, since we can't really speculate on too much more. But what do you think that this says about video games and where we are as a culture?
Honestly, like, it's kind of... There's been a few things lately that have kind of made me start thinking about this concept that, like, maybe it would be a more valid thing for video games if they actually started, like, pointing the lens at themselves and at the audience and the people playing them, of being like, hey, isn't it kind of fucked that this is the kind of thing we use as entertainment? I mean, like, I know that people lost their shit and got really mad when Danganronpa did that, but, like, it kind of, like, we're at a point now where it's real weird. It's real strange that, you know, we're putting the opportunity to get a nuclear weapon in a video game and destroy other players' progress and worlds is like, maybe we've gone to that point, you know, maybe we're at a point where games need to think about maturing a little bit more. Like,
yeah, I don't think that it's something where we've gone too far. One of the points that Kunzelman's was saliently made was like, hey, is this happening in other art forms or expressive media?
Right, exactly.
And it's like, well, it's not happening in film. If nuclear explosions was this big, important spectacle that the Fallout series makes it, and has been making it since Fallout 3, as far as I know, I only personally know of Fallout 3 forward. But if it's this big spectacle, how come it's not in film? And I don't know the answer to that necessarily, but it is kind of like a weird contextualization, like,
yeah,
no one else is doing this, but just the video game people? Is that weird? And so...
It's a little weird. It's...
Especially, yeah. I think that it is weird. I think that lands on the side of like, hey, we should really scale this back. But in what direction would we scale it back? Because this has kind of always been the direction that Fallout 3 onwards, as I know, has been going towards. Yeah. Because the nuclear wasteland is not like a space where you try to clean it up. It's often a space where it's like, how can we make this worse or make this even harder for us to inhabit? Because the goal is not to clean, it's just to survive. It's strictly just to survive, which is a radically conservative viewpoint.
Yeah, it's not to rebuild, it is to just fuck everybody else, I gotta get mine, I gotta stay alive. Like, it is at its most base, like, as a goal, so... There's
not much place in the game for conceptualizing giving to others, which does, on the other hand, make Fallout 76 interesting because it is a game where you actually finally do get to work together with other people. Which, one of the big critiques of the Fallout series is, how come I have to do all of this, like, picking up stuff and finding ammo for things and all of it? Why do I have to do all this survival on my own? And that came to a head in Fallout 4 because they had all of the, like, create your own base and stuff. But you had to get all the scraps for all of this base work. And so you ended up having to, like, spend so much time just gathering materials, and it was like, can I have friends help me with this? So yeah, there's some stuff that's kind of weird about Fallout 76, but I'm wondering if that's offset at all by the multiplayer aspects. And that this is the first time in a Fallout game where you're going to actually be able to play with other people in a cooperative setting.
Yeah.
And a competitive setting.
Yeah, I'm kind like, I'm not a Fallout fan. Like, the only one I've ever played is Fallout 4, and I really didn't like it. But I'm interested to see how the, like, world that they're trying to set up for 76 is going to work. Like, how well Fallout as a thing is going to adapt to this idea of there are other people going around in this world, and it's not just you causing havoc anymore. Like, where, they are specifically building in nuclear weapons and, like, attacking other people and working together and all this stuff. And it's also, like, coming out of a studio that hasn't made the most flexible games in the past. And it just, like, it feels very much like it could be set up to work very poorly, and that it could find itself being very messy in a way that I don't know is necessarily going to translate to people sticking with it or having a lot of fun with it. But at the same time, like, there is a lot of potential in there, and I'm very interested to see how it finishes up.
I just had another thought on the Fallout 76, the nuclear bombs train. Coming back to the question of how come other media formats don't do this. There's a whole part about video games, about worlds and how you can consume worlds infinitely in video games that you can't do in film. You can't have the heroes of a film go collect a nuke, drop it on their enemies, and then go collect another nuke, and then go drop it on their enemies again. And then also get block off from the reception of enemy nukes coming in. Like, the idea that you can take worlds and reload them constantly almost necessitates or builds up to this idea of what is the video game world that cannot be consumed. And we're hitting a point where it's like, all right, nuclear explosions as a concept, as a historical conceit, as something that we in our past worlds know very intimately and continue to know very intimately, not even that can consume worlds. And like Fallout 76 doing this is not new. Civilization games have always been a race to the nukes.
Right.
And so
Metal Gear Solid 5 did sort of that kind of thing as well, like,
while kind of laughing at it and pointing at it in a very like when you get nuclear bombs in Metal Gear Solid 5, they turn you into like they transform your character. And they make it very plain on its face, like you have done an insurmountable amount of evil just now, which maybe Fallout 76 will do. Maybe there's other ways they'll contextualize it in their game worlds. But I think that there's more conversation to be had about that, and I think that there's a lot more different places that we can go. Just talking about the idea of game worlds, I think that Cameron Kunzelman's like main question is a really cool one to explore. I kind of want to explore it more now. Speaking of game worlds, there's a game world that has been left unfinished, but it sounds like someone's going to be finishing it. Do you know any more about where Walking Dead is going now?
So we've been kind of talking the past few weeks about this whole catastrophe that is Telltale Games and the way that workers have been treated and, you know, the very sudden layoffs. More people were laid off from that skeleton crew this past week, so they're down
all
to
of
even
Telltale
fewer
now.
people. I think there is a couple of people left at this point. Like, somebody definitely tweeted, "Hey, I got laid off from Telltale, but it was just my team." So I guess they had more than one team in that skeleton crew, probably like 3 or 4 people, I would imagine. I don't know exactly, but there is still apparently somebody working at Telltale. But yeah, The Walking Dead, which the first 2 episodes of that came out. The second one I think just came out as like 2 days after they shut down or laid everybody off at least. And, you know, there's been this whole kerfuffle about, you know, people wanting them to finish it, other people saying, well, instead of finishing it, why don't you pay severance to the people who have had their lives ruined by this? You know, like other studios reached out, and apparently now Skybound, which is actually owned, I think, or at least like heavily invested in by Robert Kirkman, who of course created The Walking Dead, are going to finish it. And I'm kind of sucks in my opinion, you know, like they're saying they want to hire back the team that made The Walking Dead to finish it, but
that's going to be really hard to do.
Yeah, I'm sure some of those people like already have jobs. Other people, like, why would you want to go to this like short-term contract gig at Skybound? You know, I don't know. Like, it's a mess. Skybound made that Thief of Thieves game that I talked about a couple of months ago, and it wasn't very good at all. It's also a Robert Kirkman graphic novel that they adapted into a game.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So based on that, I wouldn't like even if, you know, Telltale hadn't done what it did, and, you know, like Robert Kirkman was just like, "Oh, I'm buying The Walking Dead for my own game studio. Sorry, we're gonna finish it." I wouldn't have any faith in Skybound then. But the way this whole thing has been handled,
there's
like,
so many ifs to that. Like,
yeah,
The Walking Dead as a game now has to trade hands from a company that is gone, that is just erased mostly.
Exactly.
into a new company that may have a lot of the assets, may have none of the assets, may have an engine that can support a Telltale game. Maybe they don't. That's gotta be weird.
Yeah, I'm assuming that they probably got control of the assets and the engine, at least, like...
Right, you would assume to be able to make a claim like, hey, we are finishing this, that I hope is assumed. And I hope they're not walking into it like, it's a Telltale game. How hard can those be to make? Because that is the one game that you'd kind of look at and be like, well, how hard is that to make? They're Telltale games.
Or if they were like, we're going to remake the whole final season ourselves on our engine, which is terrible and which absolutely doesn't work for the Telltale style of adventure game. Like, I would say, don't buy The Walking Dead final season. Like,
that feels like a line. It feels like you're crossing a picket line if you buy the last season of The Walking Dead.
It does. Like, it feels
like you are against games labor as like a just concept.
Yeah, it's essentially supporting, Scab Studio at this point, basically, even if it is owned by Robert Kirkman. Like, it's a messy situation. It's bad on all levels. And
I hope that in like 2 or 3 years that we get like a full book about what the hell happened with all of this. That's like, out of all the things to hope, this is kind of a weird thing to hope, but like, there's so many things, there's so many angles looking at this because Telltale is in such a weird position as their shareholders and the people who have stake in Telltale's success are so much larger than like anything. It would be like if a Lego studio shut down, like the groups making the Lego games shut down. It's like, how did they get shut down? They make the Lego games. Did the licensees not want more Lego games? Did the licensees for the Walking, and apparently the Walking Dead people didn't want to pay up for more Telltale games? Why was that? How did that happen? I'm fascinated by how, of all of the indie studios to suddenly have this very loud layoff process, Telltale felt so secure, even though there were a lot of stories about it being mismanaged.
Yeah, it sounds like it was just like a case of taking on way too much stuff, way too many projects, and also just fatigue from the audience. If you're putting out basically the same game with a different license on it 3 or 4 times a year, of course people are going to stop buying them because, why would you continue to buy the same basic thing over and over, even if the stories are good? Like, that engine was never good. That engine is one of the biggest catastrophes, like, ever. We've given Telltale games, like, they have won the gamut on our Game of the Years, from everything from Game of the Year for Tales of the Borderlands to, like, the most broken video game with Batman, like... Their games were always such a crapshoot of whether or not they were going to even work that, I don't blame anybody for being like, I'm going to skip this new Telltale game. I certainly haven't bought one since that first season of Batman, which didn't work for me, and it didn't work for John, and it didn't work for Ryan, and nobody who worked at the website could get it to work and run, and...
I guess it's just kind of weird hearing Telltale games as being something that's contextualized in sales when they've made a lot of games that just don't sell. And on top of that, you'd think that this was the kind of thing where they're going into The Walking Dead season 2, or is that what it is? Season 2 or final season?
This is final season is the 4th season.
But the final season, like, there's going to be 5 different parts to this. Didn't they have a contract? Like, hey, we're going to be producing 5 of these games. Are we cool? And then they just started going on to make it anyway. And then the investors were like, actually, we're not cool.
Yeah, it's...
What?
I believe it was like Lionsgate owed them money or like Lionsgate were going to pay them for some work they were doing or something, whatever the situation was. They were due a round of funding from Lionsgate for something or other, and then Lionsgate pulled out and didn't want Telltale on board, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we have no money left now because this deal fell through at the last minute, and now everybody's out of a job.
God,
sorry,
that's horrifying and fascinating. It is a disaster that could happen to anyone and at any time, and like you'd never had thought that it would be Telltale.
Yeah.
Even with all the stories going through it, like that seemed like the safest bet.
Yeah. It just sounds like they grew at a rate that wasn't sustainable, that they didn't invest in their future well enough, that the whole thing was just kind of a mess, and once that funding fell through, that was it for them. And it's real sad because, a lot of people now are in very bad positions, and I think it speaks to the fact that unionization is needed badly, and that the video game industry badly needs to change in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So, speaking of things that can change, there's some better news. If you'd like to join us. They have what's going on with the PlayStation names situation? I want to change my PlayStation name. Well,
in early 2019, you're going to be able to finally. The most requested feature that there has ever been, I think, for the PSN, other than, hey, make it work for a change. The name changes are finally happening.
Hooray!
It feels like, I think you talked about it 2 weeks ago on the show.
Yes, I talked about it 2 weeks on the show, on the podcast, but I didn't confirm anything, and there wasn't any dates.
Yeah,
it was like, we kind of are thinking about it right now. We promise.
Yeah, there had been some leaks or whatever from devs saying that they had been told, hey, start preparing for this, and there had been that quote from Sean Layden saying by the next PSX, we're going to be able to talk about this, and then everyone was like, oh, they cancelled PSX, Sean Layden knew what he was doing. But yeah, they went and they confirmed it on the PSN blog this past week that they're rolling out a beta for it soon for people who have been on, I forget what their program is called, but basically their beta testing program for new firmware and things like that. But it's going to be a real weird implementation of it. Essentially, you can change your name for most games on the PS4. Everything that has released since April and on is going to have the PSN name change work. Most other PS4 games that are older will work, but not all of them.
What?
Games on the Vita and PS3 will still have your old username as well. You'll be able to set it so that it can show people what your old username used to be, kind of like on Steam.
Okay.
It's gonna cost money. It's gonna cost, I think, $4.99 if you're on PS Plus and $9.99 if you're not. So, it seems kind of unclear as to whether or not that first name change is going to be free. It's definitely going to be free for the people in the beta program testing it for that first one, but we'll see if that extends to everyone.
I'm trying to think if maybe there's games that came out where your name was hard baked into the save data or something.
Yeah, I think the explanation they gave is that basically the way the PSN was originally engineered didn't really ever take into account that stuff. For the PS3 era, they never thought, oh, maybe somebody might want to change their name someday.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so, that whole system seems like it's been so antiquated for so long, and that they had to figure out some kind of workaround, and this is the best they could do, which is fine, because, how many people are out there on their PS3 still playing Warhawk or Mag or whatever these days, but,
Right.
you'll even though you might change your name to, you know, Solon Face on PS4, you'll still be 420 Kush. Yeah, you'll still be 420 Kush Boy 69 on PS3 or whatever, you know.
Thank you for repping my other brand.
Yeah. You're welcome. You know,
got to keep that Seattle, that Washington State fever alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, Cushman's is a great organization. I really do like their product. They're right up the road on 99. Like, if I go down the street from here and I take a right, I literally cannot miss a place that is actually called Cushman's.
What do they sell? What's their
weed.
Product?
Weed.
Oh, okay, great.
Weed, glass.
Great. Perfect.
They've got the whole thing. The whole kit and caboodle.
Okay, because Cushman's to me sounds like a bed store or something. You know,
yeah.
Like, come get your Lisa mattress in here or whatever.
Maybe a little of both. It is actually, so there's probably like 5 or 6 weed shops in the like North Linwood, South Everett area on that strip of Highway 99. And
right.
yeah, Cushman's is the most like just like it feels like a mattress store when you walk in. There's a wide range of like, this is your weird uncle's weed store to this is your Silicon Valley, like bright white lights, and like you're in a car shop now. You're in like a high-end auto shop looking at the highest, finest weeds, and they're all right there on that plaza. Yeah,
lots of those like square, like light tube lights above you. It's got a real weird like warehouse feel to it.
So yeah, no, there's the whole range, and it's like literally like weed, epic gamer weed store, and then like the mom and pops will be called like White Rabbit, and it's like, oh yeah, like the song, yeah, like all right, great.
I like Jefferson Airplane.
They did too, and they will never stop liking Jefferson Airplane. It's always alive in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
It's always Woodstock here.
Yeah. A lot of deadheads still around in the Seattle area, I imagine.
Yep. Well, this is also important. Like, if you're thinking of like the weed version of car game like Forza, you're gonna, or like GTA, you're gonna go to each of these stores, and they're each gonna have different glass, and so you gotta know which store you want to go to, because if you go to the old mom and pops, you're gonna get the deadhead glass, or if you go to the nice, like, you're gonna get the chrome glass. If you go to the modern one, it's you gotta have the fashion, right, when you're smoking your weed.
Yeah, you gotta get the like stuff that Custom Grow 420 uses.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, like if I walked into a weed store and I found out the Custom Grow 420 shop there, I'd be like, I gotta go to somewhere else. I can't be a patron of somewhere that motherfucker.
Sorry. He probably doesn't go to a store. He's probably got a guy.
He's probably got sponsorships
at this point. Most folks around here have. It's not like, you know how weed used to be, where it's like you had a guy, you got it from that kid. It was like a high school kid that just had the connections. Oh well, now your guy is code for a grower. You literally have a connection straight to the people who grow it, so that you can avoid the taxes. It's literally the only reason you buy from direct sourcing your weed. It's so weird. But speaking of fashion, and speaking of like making sure you have the hottest, hippest fashion when when you want to get high, The World Ends With You has finally released the final remix on the Nintendo Switch, and I have played it for 1 whole hour. And so my Shibuya fashion is on fleek.
Hell yeah.
Immediately picked up the dress, and now Neku's in the dress because he is a strong, strong individual. And yeah, Neku and Shiki are back, and it's been a really weird time for me because I played this game last when I was in high school, And I was like, oh, is this going to be as good as I remember it? And is this going to feel the same as like how it used to feel? I identify really, really strongly with this RPG because a lot of folks have like that one RPG that's like, I identify with Final Fantasy V or whatever.
Right.
Or I identify with The Last Remnant. Maybe you're just a big war fan. But The World Ends With You was mine. That's the one that was like, I have identified with this for so long. I just have always just listened to the soundtrack ever since I lost my DS copy of the game. And it is way better than I remember it, and way more emo than I remember it. And
yeah.
It's been a warm feeling coming back.
Yeah, and it's such like you only need to look at the characters in that game and just feel the vibe of it to know like, oh, this is so mid 2000s. This is so of its time. Every character still has the like thick black line strokes around them, and everything has like this really thick feeling. Right.
And the art just pops out really fresh, and it's like, oh wow, this does look a little dated, but it doesn't look bad at all. It was a nostalgic feeling. That's what I had. I had a nostalgic feeling playing The World Ends With You Final Remix. The only thing that wasn't nostalgic at all was that they now have waggle controls with the Joy-Cons. Because this was a DS game that was entirely based and needed a touchpad.
Right.
When they ported it to the mobile devices, you still had your touchpad. You could still do that. But the controls on the Switch, if you have it undocked, you can still touch the screen the same exact way and use it like a touchpad like you did with the old game. But if you dock it, you don't have access to the touchscreen anymore. And you have to instead use the Joy-Con for everything. And the weird thing about this game, and I need to hold a Joy-Con while I do this.
You need to be able to visualize it properly.
Yeah, you only use one Joy-Con. The entire game is only controlled with one. If you try to use like the controller setup or put two together, it won't let you. It will think you're trying to do a co-op thing where you're playing with two controllers. And so it's weird playing a modern video game with only one hand, like an RPG with only one hand. And you're using the control stick and the face buttons all on one hand to move your character and to do this or do that. And it actually works, is the weirdest part. It works really, really well. And maybe even better than it did with the touch controls, because when I would play on the DS, or if I would play it on my Switch, which I really don't want to, it would kind of mess with the screen. It would start to wear into the screen, because a lot of the motions that you make in that game are very furious tapping or slashing motions. And I don't want to do that to my Nintendo Switch, because I'm an adult now, and I'm not a teenager. That's growing up. And so I'm gonna be waggling this entire time with my Joy-Con, and one of the face buttons is dedicated to resetting the Joy-Con to the center of the screen.
Sure.
And instead of it having like infrared like you would on the Wii, it's literally just the angles at which you hold the Joy-Con. So the thing is always getting misaligned. It is constantly, like, between every battle, you are going to hit the reset button, like, before you start every battle, which is not great. It's the weakest part of the whole thing, but doing all of the slashing motions and the combat stuff, and having to make the game differentiate between what is a strike that slashes versus what's a poking strike, versus what is poking on an enemy versus off an enemy, because there's a lot of different ways that combat works in that game. It's very technical, and it works really well. It actually worked extremely well, even as combat started getting more and more complex and intricate. It felt like I was doing a fun little hand-shaky waggle dance, but with just one hand. So it don't play with friends around is a recommendation. Because it'll look
saying
weird.
you look ridiculous while you're playing The World Ends With You?
Yeah, because you only are playing it with one hand.
Sure.
But on the other hand, it's very easy co-op because you've now got a second Joy-Con that's available. So that's nice.
It sounds like a really great port of that game. God, I missed that game. I should, if I had a Switch, I would be very tempted to pick that up. Honestly,
that makes my heart feel so warm when you say that you miss it too, because it was the first game that I ever cosplayed.
Really?
Yep.
Who did you cosplay as?
As Beat. As Beat, because I'm a big boy and I wanted to be that big boy Beat. Have the skull chain and have and I just got to chill out in shorts and a shirt all day. It was awesome.
Yeah. God. Yeah, that game is like, it reminds me so much of the time that it came out. You know, it's, again, like it reminds me of a time of, you know, bad haircuts in MySpace and, you know,
2007.
Yeah, terrible HTML, you know, like that's what it reminds me of.
Hell yeah.
I miss it so much.
I'm hoping, my big hope for The World Ends With You and why I think this is kind of like important culturally is,
right.
Out of all of the JRPG remasters, I think this is the one that's going to increase its cult following as opposed to just monetizing off of it. I think every iteration of this game has just made like more people of the age that I was when I first played it just kind of fall in love with it a little more.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, maybe I'll send this to one of my middle schoolers. Maybe I'll be like, hey, you need this in your life. You with the Invader Zim hat. Here you go.
Yeah, yeah, that's the kid that you want to give it to. That's the kid who'll appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Do the kids still like Invader Zim?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I know that they're are they made a new Invader Zim movie recently?
Nope. Well, they're supposedly in the process of it, but
yeah,
Hot Topic still exists, and until all Hot Topics on the face of the earth have burned down, we've still got Invader Zim. It is still the zeitgeist. Great. I'm glad something survived. Yep. Our generation's Rocky Horror Picture Show. Ooh, that's going to make a lot of people feel weird. Oh, yeah. There you go, friends. Yeah. I feel real weird myself right now. This whole episode is making me feel like very nostalgic in a way that makes me feel like I'm having some kind of crisis. So maybe you want to take us somewhere else? Yeah, maybe we should get on a flight and go to Greece. Because I believe, Solon, you've been taking a virtual tour of Greece. Yeah, Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out. I have not played an Assassin's Creed game unless you count Horizon Zero Dawn, which I don't think people would. No, probably not. But, and I haven't played Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I just know it came out, and I only know it came out because I have a bunch of friends who have been playing it that I've been watching them. Right, okay. So I've been watching people play through this game, and it's just an Assassin's Creed game, and it's just in Greece this time. But there's also, it just seems like everyone's having a lot of fun when you're playing this game, and in the development of this game, there's this nice photo mode that you can just set up to take pictures of all of the wacky stuff you get involved in, and you can change the filters on it, which is very out of time period, but it also kind of like gives you a new light to look at ancient history with. And I think that's kind of cool and important. Yeah, so the photo mode gives you a new, interesting light on ancient history. And most importantly, the main piece of history that it could exist in Greece that has been captured perfectly in the in Assassin's Creed Odyssey is that statue. That statue. That statue. Pinor hanging in the breeze. Just just like you wanted to. Now that I've set this up and I realize, hey, Solon, do you know the name of that statue? No. I don't. I don't know the name of it either, but I know the one you're talking about. I just, like,
I haven't seen anything of that game, but I imagine as you're walking around, you're just seeing a bunch of statues that all look like warrior mail.
Yeah,
That's like all I think about with it. You said you've been saying like you've been watching your friends play it and stuff, and I've been hearing mixed things about it. Like, I've heard some people say it's really grindy and is like trying to push you towards microtransactions, and other people saying, no, it's alright, it's not too bad. Like, what's the impression of it you're getting?
The impression that I'm getting is that if you are looking for the microtransactions, you're going to find them, and they're going to feel like they're really in your face about it.
Sure.
But when you're playing casually, you might not even, like, they are there, they aren't there, and it depends on just kind of where you're at and how you're playing the game and the mood you're in. If you're not in the mood to be sold to, which is a very common mood that all of us have, and you're like, video game, please stop. I'm not pulling my credit card out for you.
Yeah, I already spent $60 on this thing. Like, that's enough.
It can feel kind of that like offensive buyer's guilt. I don't know what's the like. There needs to be a nice little term for when you don't want to deal with microtransactions right now, friends. Ubisoft.
Yeah. Nothing is coming straight to my mind, but I get exactly what you mean. Like, that's the big Ubisoft EA 2K thing these days. Like, it's just that pressure.
I'm fine with you finding ways to support yourself. Just stop making me deal with it.
Yeah. I don't need to see ads. Like, I don't need loading screens to be like, hey, you can boost your XP if you spend an extra $10. Like,
there's a pretty important microtransaction. Well, it's a macro transaction. I think it came with the people who downloaded the game or pre-bought the game, and you can have a unicorn in the game.
Ooh.
And the unicorn, when you ride it, makes rainbow trails behind it with its hooves that look really cool, because it gives like a trail that highlights exactly the path that each hoof takes on the ground.
Right.
And so it just looks awesome. So you've got this magical beast that leaves a trail behind it like you're like a goddamn Tron mobile, except it's a horse.
That's the kind of silly stuff I wish Assassin's Creed did more of. Although it sounds like they're kind of leaning into the silly stuff a little bit more anyway in this game. Like, I've heard there's numerous references to the movie 300 for some reason. Like,
there's a lot of pop culture references in it.
Yeah.
All of the quests have the names of like old rock songs and stuff.
Yeah.
And 300 references.
Yeah. References to 300 in 2018 is like, that's a little much, I think. I know we were just reminiscing about The World Ends With You.
I think it's on the swing. I think you can get a little nostalgic flair for 300 references. Just
like having heard that apparently the "This Is Sparta" line is in that game somewhere is like, I'm having horrible like flashbacks. But
maybe if this was like 4 or 5 years ago, that'd be the case. But I think they're hitting it at the perfect time. Yeah, maybe then like nostalgia has hit the point now for that era where you can kind of get away with something like that. The coolest thing is that you can combine all of these things, the Pinor statue, the photo mode, and the unicorn, and just make awesome pictures out of all of it. Because if you change the photo filter on the photo mode, the unicorn's trail also changes colors with it because of the light refraction, and it just looks awesome. It's so cool. So none of this is about the actual game Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but that's maybe not what's important to me right now. Yeah. Or to the people I'm watching stream the game. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe you found the secret like thing that actually matters in Assassin's Creed. That you can play as a woman that hits on all the other women. There's a big Pinor statue, unicorns, and a photo mode to capture it all. Honestly, that kind of sounds like Assassin's Creed might be good for once. I don't know. I haven't really liked that series in the past, but whatever. Like,
what I've seen of Odyssey has made me be like, oh, that's maybe kind of interesting, but I also don't want to give Ubisoft any money right now. So.
I mean, if you want all of that except for the Pinor statue, you can just play Horizon Zero Dawn.
That's true.
Because literally all of that is also there.
Yeah. I've already played Horizon Zero Dawn, but like, I don't know what it is about that game, but I forgot everything about it like the minute I finished it.
That sounds like the perfect problem.
Yeah, like if you asked me to name a single character other than Aloy, I'd be like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you most of the plot points. It's like...
Whoa.
Horizon is, to me, like one of those, you know... It's like a YA novel you read and you're like, oh, that was fun. What happened in it? I don't remember. Like,
holy shit, I can't think of anyone else in that game either.
Yeah.
I used to have all their names.
Yeah, it is like the Avatar of video games.
Where'd that memory go? Ah!
Yeah, it's just one of those things.
Holy shit. That's some, like, reverse Mandela effect stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I know that existed, but...
Yeah.
What? Where'd it go?
There was a city, and there was, like, kind of an Aztec or Mayan-inspired, like, Sun King or something.
Sun King guy, cool dwarven lady that hits on you, and
I don't
old
remember
lady
that.
that's got your back, Aloy's dad.
Lance Reddick is there for some reason.
Lance Reddick, whose character name I will not know, but Lance Reddick was definitely there.
Yeah, he'd talk in your ear now and again about something.
I don't remember what he was talking about, though. Tyrannosaurus Rexes.
Yeah.
I remember all the dinosaurs.
Yeah, there was like a saber-toothed tiger.
Hell yeah.
One.
I remember
like a mammoth.
I remember using exactly which weapons to dismantle each of these beasts.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I could remember anything that happens in that story.
What the hell? This was my favorite game of last year. It's only been 10 months.
Yeah. Video games. Horizon.
Well, anyway, I think that's all of our news for today, is it?
We have one more thing I'll just say quickly because it hasn't yet been finalized or anything. But during the week, Jason Schreier over at Kotaku, I believe it was, reported that Microsoft are 90% done on a deal to purchase Obsidian, which, you know, Obsidian have made some really great games, but most of what they've done the past few years has been crowdfunded. They're a pretty large studio to be, you know, relying on crowdfunding. Microsoft want to step up their first-party development, and I think this is a pretty interesting move and a pretty good move if they get it done.
Oh, hey, something in the games industry that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, listen, if, like, Phil Spencer is going to pay to have Alpha Protocol 2 developed, then that's all that matters, really. If we're going to get a sequel to the greatest video game of all time, so.
Hell yeah.
That's what I want out of this. Yeah. It makes sense.
That's awesome. Niall, do we have questions today?
We have some questions. We're just going to do...
Yes.
So we got a lot of questions, but I'm very, very tired, so we're just going to do a handful of these.
Oh, come on, Niall, come on. We can rapid fire them.
Okay, we can. Okay, sure. Here's one you might be able to answer then to start us off from.
Who's it from?
From Tumblr user Harlequin Wheels. And actually, if you want to ask us questions, you can go to videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com/ask, and you can say whatever you want to us there. Please try and be nice to us. So Harlequin Wheels asks, what game do you think will be the first to be in high school literature class curriculum, and what would you like it to be?
The first game to be in a high school literature class?
Yeah. What do you think it's going to be?
Going to be 999.
Really?
It's going to be 9 doors, 9 peoples, 9 zeros.
Yeah, 9 whatever. It's gonna be Danganronpa.
I immediately thought about Danganronpa, but I was like, actually, no. A high school literature class would eat 999 up. They'd be like,
yeah,
here's the Titanic references, and here's all of the like old weird self-referential stuff. It's like literally like the video game equivalent of watching the new version of Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, I could see it being one of those games.
Baz Luhrmann? Was that Baz Luhrmann?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. I think it was Baz Luhrmann.
It's kind of what that game is like. It's like a fever dream of weird references and also cool stuff.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like what else would fit that kind of tone of a high school curriculum.
Because like, what did you read in high school, if you remember?
We did Macbeth.
Uh-huh.
Mine
was 12th Night.
What else did we do?
There were things like Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, I think we did Lord of the Flies. We didn't read it, but we watched Cinema Paradiso. That was one of the things we did.
Nice. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
No, we didn't do that.
That was one we did.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the big one as far as things we actually read was Macbeth.
And so what kind of game do you think would kind of fit along those lines?
What's the Macbeth of video games? See, there's no answer I could give there that would...
What video game do you feel makes you more literate when you play it?
Oh boy.
Alpha Protocol?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Alpha Protocol.
I feel like that. I think you kind of nailed it.
Yeah, Alpha Protocol is the Macbeth of video games. Put that on the box for the remaster.
Niall said it. The Macbeth of video games.
The Macbeth of video games. I could see like I could actually see like some kind of choice based, like I could see The Walking Dead be like some kind of weird literature class teachers thing.
Oh,
even though I don't think it would work that well, but like I could see the first season of that maybe being.
I'm completely forgetting my alma mater. The first game that I ever did a close reading of was BioShock.
Yeah,
we took a class on BioShock as practicum, and it's a really great game to close read because the levels are so contained that you can study it one level at a time.
Right.
It's really good for that, actually.
Yeah.
I still feel like that is the case. Even though it's aged in a weird way, it's actually really good to study.
Yeah, hopefully like BioShock Infinite doesn't ever make it into the high school literature classes, but I think that's an interesting thing though. Like eventually video games are going to be, considered for that kind of thing, and it's...
Yeah. It's just about what games are good for close reading.
Yeah.
And I think actually any of the three that we said. Final Fantasy VII. That would work. That would actually be really fun to do a close reading of.
Yeah. Yeah, like it has themes I think that are approachable enough that a high school, class would be able to digest at least some of what it's saying pretty well, It's pretty upfront with its criticisms of like capitalism and nuclear energy and things like that. So
hey, shout out to my roommate who recently lost his job but did publish a book on Final Fantasy VII called "We Must Save the World for Ourselves" that goes over all of the themes of Final Fantasy VII. It's really good for that. As a close reading of the game.
Yeah, I might pick that up. That sounds pretty interesting. I want to hear his take on This Guy Are Sick and
Yep.
And that terrible section of the game where you have to dress Cloud up as a woman to go meet the pimp. That's Final Fantasy VII's weird and kind of bad in a lot of ways.
But I love it. I love it for all of its things. Yeah, so... Yeah. Harlequin Wheels, thank you for the question. That was a really good one.
Yes, it actually really was. This one comes from Donkin Bonk. So, That's a great name. I really like that name. Given the time of year, any spooky favorites that you're into for this time of the month?
Spooky favorites, my go-to for horror games, because I'm not really like a horror person.
Right.
But for some reason I do like horror games. Not a big fan of horror films, but horror games. My go-tos are always Condemned, the Condemned series, because it's super campy.
Yeah.
That old, and it reminds you that the Xbox 360 used to be a new thing, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It does a really good job of showing, like, this is what the Xbox 360 used to, like, that was the cutting edge of video games. There is also Deadly Premonitions.
Yes, of course. The classic.
And even film, I always love a good teenage slasher. And so Until Dawn is my other.
Yes. Oh, that Until Dawn was going to be my answer.
Hell yeah.
I love Until Dawn. I think Until Dawn might be the only game that's not like designed to be played in one like 2-hour sitting that I've ever played in one sitting. Like,
yep.
When I played that game, I sat down at like midnight and started playing it, and then next thing I knew, it was like 8 a.m, and I was finishing it, and it was like, this is really good. That was great. I had a good time. Peter Stormare is in that. It's weird.
Yep. When we played it, we were going to do like an Until We Beat of this game, where we play a game until we beat it, and we did it, and it was like, oh, that was like 5 hours. That was great. Let's go again. Yeah. We played it 4 times. And then that was when we decided, we have beaten this game.
Yeah, yeah. That game
fun.
Is so good. I think I might replay that in like once this release season kind of dies down a little bit. I think that might be one of the games I go back to, because I've only played through it once, and I was like real upset that I fucked up right at the end and caused like 3 characters, including like probably my favorite of them, to die in the very last scene of the game.
Yep,
I was like,
every time.
Because it doesn't communicate what's going to happen if you do the thing, and then you do the thing and
don't move.
And I was like, no, whatever your name is, I can't remember. I think it might have been Ashley or something. You deserved to live. You got like the shit kicked out of you this whole game, and everyone treated you like garbage. No.
Damn. That was Ashley, yeah. I don't remember anyone from Horizon Zero Dawn, but Ashley and Chris, I think. And
Ashley and Chris were the 2 I wanted to survive, and then I was responsible for them both getting fucked up, as well as, I forget the other dude's name, Mike, maybe, I think.
Yep, Mike.
Yeah, he ate shit in that last scene as well for me. Hayden Panettiere lived though, and the one of the other girls lived. I can't remember her name.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I ended with just like horrifying scars all over Hayden Panettiere. Like that was it.
Yeah. It's a great game. People should play that game if they haven't played it. It's like, what if David Cage made a game and it was good?
Right?
Yeah. Oh god. Okay. Let's see. Anonymous asks, and we kind of covered this earlier, or at least you kind of alluded to it, but Anonymous wants to know what our favorite JRPGs are. Is it The World Ends With You?
Yep. My favorite JRPG is The World Ends With You. And also it's on sale right now. The Tales series, not really the whole series, but the 3 games that are on sale on Humble right now are Tales of Symphonia, Tales of Zestiria, and Tales of Berseria.
Yeah, I got Berseria in a Humble Bundle fairly recently. I know Rose loves that game a lot, and like anytime I am ever like on Twitter being, saying, I could maybe play a JRPG, I could maybe go for one of those, she's always like, play Berseria. So knowing you like it as well, maybe I should.
Tales of Symphonia, if you are 16 years old, you must play Tales of Symphonia. It'll be your favorite game ever. And then when you turn 20, you can play Tales of Zestiria, and it'll be your favorite game ever. And then when you're 23 or 24, you can play Tales of Berseria, and it'll be your favorite game ever. And that's the arc.
Right. What if I'm 28 years old?
If you're 28 years old, you will still appreciate all of them for what they are. And
Great.
because, like, they're just games that are vehicles for you to kill God, and everyone loves killing God.
Oh, yeah.
All three of them set up different gods, and I think that's probably the coolest part about having all three of them in one bundle is, like, the stakes are different, even though the, like, what you accomplish is relatively similar.
Right. No, it's not. Okay, I was going to ask if Symphonia was the one that was like that weird, like, JRPG version of some composer's life, and then I remembered that's Eternal Sonata, I think.
You are thinking of another one of my favorite JRPGs ever, which says a lot about me, is Eternal Sonata.
Yeah.
The fevered dream of Frédéric Chopin.
That's right, Chopin. That's who I was like, was it Chopin or Mozart or, yeah.
All three of those games have, like, all of the games that I just listed have wildly different battle systems. And it's, like, if you play all of them, you'll be like, wow, RPGs are fantastic and amazing. And then the very next time you go to, like, a turn-based RPG, you're going to be like, what? What am I doing here? I want to tap on things.
My answer to this is, I think my answer would probably be Persona 4. I love Persona 4. I like Persona 5 a lot as well, and as much as I love to shit on it on both of them, I really like Final Fantasy 7 and 10. But I would probably say Persona 4 just because it's such a charming game and has such a charming setting, and, you know, with the exception of, you know, some thematic problems that game has, you know.
Yes, like, the asterisk that you always put on when you say Persona 4 is my favorite game ever, which is a completely legitimate statement to make. Asterisk.
Asterisk, Naoto and Kanji, you know, like...
It's still completely valid still.
Yeah, it's still a great game. It could have been one of the all-time classics without that. But I feel like that's so common to everything Persona team makes now, is like... Because Persona 5 had that stuff, and, you know, as, like, my favorite puzzle game to play ever is Catherine, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, Catherine is not is a game that, like, gets things right from its thematic and writing standpoint, because, boy, Catherine has some issues.
Those are teams that experiment and go way out of their lane.
Yeah.
And they are worse for it, but I think the journey was still important to take.
Yeah.
I think there's way worse things that could have happened in those spaces that they managed to avoid for other reasons.
Yeah. I just wish they could stick the landing on something for once, and I don't think that new Catherine game is going to change that at all. Nope. It seems really bad.
Nope, it's the curse of experimenting. They're just going to keep going more and more out there. Hopefully they at least learn from their mistakes enough that the next time they experiment, they don't mess up the same thing again. That's kind of all we can hope for.
Because they always do.
Yeah.
They always do. And it's always the same stuff. Anyway, another anonymous question. What anime or game series would you like to see get a Yakuza-style game like Fist of the North Star did? How would you change the combat? What mini-games would there be? Personally, I'd love to see a JoJo's game in that vein, but Part 3 would fit the combat, and Part 4 would fit the semi-open world town more. Honestly, JoJo would be really good for that.
There's so many shonen anime that fit the mold. Since Fist of the North Star is the progenitor of all of these,
of course,
you can pretty much fit in any shonen anime and make it into that kind of beat 'em up style.
Yeah, I feel like that's what they were trying to do with Dragon Ball Xenoverse.
Yeah.
But they didn't really hit that. But, yeah.
There's something timeless about Fist of the North Star that just matches the Yakuza style really well.
Yeah, it's over the top in the same way that Yakuza is, but it still takes itself way too seriously in the way that Yakuza takes itself way too seriously.
So out of all my favorite anime, not a lot of my favorite anime are like shonen anime.
Yeah, same.
But there is one that matches the format in a way that there's no other way you could turn this series into a video game except for into that Yakuza style.
All right.
Except for maybe a Persona. Nah. Gatchaman. Gatchaman Crowds is one of my favorite anime ever.
That would be really cool.
And to just be able to beat people up with a giant pair of scissors would be awesome. To turn into the big Gatchaman, like, characters that you can transform into, like, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I would love to see, like, the Gatchaman Crowd's art style adapted to a video game as well, because I think that series is really beautiful looking.
Yep. The only place I get that is in dating sims.
Yeah.
Some of the Otome games, like Amnesia Memories, where it's like, these are beautiful characters. I don't remember the artist's name for Amnesia Memories, but she's, like, really good.
Yeah, I'm sitting here, like, right now, just, like, staring at my anime, like, Blu-rays, trying to see there's like, anything here, you know, stick out at me as something that could work, and like, pretty much nothing I like really works for this. But, like, maybe Durarara, would that work? Maybe you could do something
Durarara would
with
work?
that? Yeah.
That could do some cool stuff.
Yeah, that's...
Niall, have you ever seen Samurai Flamenco?
I have. It's pretty good. I've seen like half of it. Yeah.
What if you put that on the Tokyo streets, where it's a bunch of disillusioned, like, assholes trying to be superheroes?
Yeah.
And so you're just beating up people on the streets while trying to avoid the cops?
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Or even, like, in that vein, like Tiger and Bunny would be a pretty good one.
Yeah, this totally flips the idea of, like, what the Yakuza games were meant to be, but in a really fun way.
Alright, let's see what else we got here. Shoeless wants to know what video game... Yeah, I know.
Just the way you started that, I'm already scared. Hey, Shoeless, how's it going?
See, what we got left is all, you know, it's a certain kind of question.
What we got left?
Yeah, you know...
The bottom of the barrel!
Yeah, we've kind of done the real stuff, and now we're getting to the... Now we're getting to the Shoeless style question.
Niall, it's okay. I'm here with you.
We love you, Shoeless. We love you. But Shoeless wants to know what video game character is overdue for a good slapping.
Who's overdue for a good slapping?
Yeah. Who deserves to get roughed up a little bit? I think probably Noctis.
Noctis?
Yeah.
That pretty prince boy.
He's a little whiny, you know. He could probably stand to, you know, learn his place a little bit.
Why do I have to drive? I just want to go fishing.
Just have Gladiolus hit him once, like real hard across the face. Just wake him up. Get his shit together.
Anyway, my answer to the question is the BioShock guy.
Yeah. Good. That's a good pick.
Actually, really, BioShock or either of the System Shock people for the exact same reasons.
Yeah.
These buff nerds need to, like, just get the taste slapped out of them once. Probably by a very domineering woman, as is the case. Yeah,
I think Adam Jensen as well, just because...
Thank you, yes.
Just because it's Adam Jensen and he deserves a wake-up of some kind, just, like... Come on.
He probably, like, literally wakes up out of bed, gets slapped in the face, and is like, what was that? And turns around and, like, no one's there.
Yeah. You have sunglasses built into your face. You deserve a slap. Like, come on.
He's got sunglasses built into his face.
He does.
It's still a thing. What a douche.
Adam Jensen sucks. He's the worst. Alright, let's see here. The Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. This could... I think we could maybe just answer this and move on.
Hell yeah, hey Boss Tones, what's up?
Yeah, how many rocks do you think Nathan Drake could fit in his mouth?
In his mouth? Oh, that's a weird place to put rocks. Why would you put rocks there? Ick.
2, I think.
14.
14, wow, okay.
He would probably specifically look for the littlest rocks, but he would also probably eat 4 or 5 of them while he's trying to do this stunt. this jackass-esque stunt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dislocates his jaw somehow. So before we started recording, I had to ask you if you knew what this word meant. Century Punk asks, what's your favorite Gijinka? Hard mode, no Pokemon. And I don't,
okay.
I still, like, you kind of explained it to me and I still don't think I get it.
Yeah, Gijinka is like a moe anthropomorphizing of anything, I think. And I only know it applied to Pokemon.
Yeah, like, yeah, when I Googled it, every image was just a Pokemon, so I don't know.
I've got a little Espeon onesie, so I can be my own Gijinka at all times. That's fun.
Is there some kind of, like, Solon, Marill, Gijinka, something like that?
I want there to be! That would be great! That was something that we were trying to plan for PAX that didn't quite go through, but I'm gonna keep looking for Marill, Gijinka things.
Yeah.
Without it being Pokemon, I don't understand. I literally don't know the term outside of Pokemon.
Yeah, but, like, I can't, like...
Let's extend this question, though. If you could be a anime girl made out of anything in the known universe that is not a living thing... How would you Gijinkize yourself? How would you anthropomorphize yourself?
If I had to be a moe anime girl,
if you had to, like, you gotta. Unfortunately, your time is up, Niall. The contract is expired. You now have to be a small anime girl. Based on blank. And the blank is literally like a Mad Libs proper noun, like anything.
Yeah, like maybe like a Gijinka little snowman or something, I think would be good.
Aww.
Like that. Yeah. That works. What about you?
I'm already imagining the late John Mashonsky, may he rest in peace, in the little mascot for Atlas. Mm-hmm. What's their name? Jack Frost. Little Jack Frost Gijinka.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that'd be really fun. We've already ruled out Marill, already ruled out Espeon because those are Pokemon. That rules out everything.
Yeah, it's
what
really
is
tough.
There without Pokemon? There's what are things that aren't Pokemon in the known universe?
There's Digimon.
Gijinka lamp.
Gijinka
lamp. Desk.
Are you just looking at things that? Yeah, you are. Okay. Gijinka cell phone.
Gijinka Wendy's. Oh, Wendy's cup.
Oh, you know what? Now that I look around my room,
Gijinka Wendy's.
now that I look around my room, I've seen something I think would also work. Like, I got a little plushie of. Do you remember the AOL Running Man?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'd be a Gijinka version of the AOL Running Man, I think.
Oh wow, yeah, Niall, your nostalgia knows no bounds.
My guy, you should see my fucking computer. I have it reskinned to look like it's a Windows XP machine. I got
That's incredible.
Old, like the old like mountain background and everything. I'm living in 12 years ago, and it's bad. It's not good.
Living in the aughts.
Yeah, don't live like me. All right, one more question.
I am ready for one more.
We're going back to the well here, and I'm just going to say, like, I think it's time after this answer that we put a moratorium on questions about Vegeta for a little bit, you know, listen.
It was really hard last time.
Yeah.
But we made it, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, like...
Okay.
There was a point a couple of years ago where we had to just say no more Duke Nukem stuff on the podcast because it was getting out of hand. And I think Vegeta is at risk of becoming the next Duke Nukem for this website, and that is, unacceptable. So, Solon, Anonymous asks, is Vegeta licking McDonald's sauce canon? And if so, in which universes? So does Vegeta lick the sauce packets from McDonald's?
Okay, so this is a call to the drawing that Philip Banks made over Ko-fi, I think is the crowdsourcing service.
Yes.
Where it's just inexplicably Philip Banks, the artist of great quality, drew Vegeta licking out a sauce packet.
Don't use the phrase "licking out." That's a little too sexual.
Tasting.
Sure, tasting
the decadent innards of a McDonald's sauce packet. And really enjoying his time. And when we all saw this, immediately we were like, where does this lie? Where does this? Like, we never thought about Vegeta's sensitive Saiyan palate just eating the condiments, because what's more savory and salty and less appalling to a spice palate than just eating the sauce straight up?
Yeah.
That's a really hard place to be. I don't know. Because if we canonize it, it says some things about Vegeta that I don't know if we're ready for them to be said.
I think he does, but I think he only does it with sweet and sour sauce.
It's true. I do that with sweet and sour sauce. That was the weirdest part of seeing that picture, was like, I do that.
Yeah. I mean, like, I got home from work a couple of weeks ago, and there was just like, I haven't been to McDonald's in about 4 years, but I got home from work and I opened the fridge and there was just like 3 McDonald's sweet and sour sauce packets in there, and I was horrified.
Save those for laters.
Yeah, apparently somebody in my house went to McDonald's for some fucking reason because they wanted to get diarrhea, I guess, or something, and they were just in there, and I was... It's frightening. John used to have a whole like drawer full of those just sweet and sour McDonald's and Wendy's sauce packets. It was
those don't keep.
No, it was a bad time. He used to like, I think he might still do this. You'd have to ask him, but when he used to go to Wendy's or McDonald's, he used to be just like, how many packets of sauce can you give me? And I respect that hustle, honestly.
See, the thing is, I think of Goku as being the person who would mistake a sauce packet as, like, legitimate food.
Mm-hmm.
And just eat that straight up before getting to the meal.
Yeah.
Be like, wow, free appetizer, thank you.
Yeah, I could see Goku being like, oh, this coats your palate.
Of course it would. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah. Whereas Vegeta's like, he's watching Trunks and Bulma eat, their horrible McDonald's and just very quietly.
Starting with the burgers first.
Yeah,
where do the
just
fries
like very
come into
quietly trying to like hide the fact that he's sitting there, just trying to lick the sauce out of the packet. Everyone's staring at him in the McDonald's. It's
Bulma has to smack him on the leg and then, no, don't
eat your fries.
Don't do it, Vegeta. Veggie sweetie.
Mm-hmm. Veggie. I don't want to think about Bulma calling him Veggie. It's terrible.
Sweetie Pie. What other pet names could Bulma have for Vegeta then? Snookum? I don't think she's a Snookum kind of person.
No, I don't think she is either.
She's very much like hun.
Yeah.
Honey.
Yeah, and it's always like, and she always says it in a way that's like kind of pleading with him to like actually pay attention to her. It doesn't seem like a relationship that has a lot of romance in it, I guess it's still better than Yamcha though, so Bulma could do better than both of them, honestly. Like,
she could. Well, the other thing is she could do better by herself too. Is the weirdest part of it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's really doing a kindness to all of everyone. Yeah,
arguably the only character in that whole series who is competent in any way, because like God knows all the Saiyans are the dumbest motherfuckers alive.
Like a race to the bottom.
Yeah. Krillin's not exactly like doing much,
Yep.
Tien just wants to hang out with his weird clown boy. It's
the most like human of everyone being like Hercules or Satan.
Mr. Satan.
Mr. Satan. And he's like just a goof.
Yeah, he's just Hulk Hogan, basically.
Oh yeah!
Hopefully he doesn't get filmed saying awful things, though.
Just hanging out in the movie theater with all my homies.
Yeah. Yeah.
MS signing off all his tweets.
Oh, God. Okay. I think that's it.
Niall, I feel fantastic. I think that we've really wrapped up an amazing week of video games.
We have. It's been a busy week. It's only getting busier from here on out, so enjoy it.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
Yeah, and just before we go, Wednesday night, which was 2 nights ago as of this recording, so like almost a week ago by the time you're hearing this, Scott did the latest stream in our XCOM 2 series. It went very poorly for just about everybody.
Oh. It was so heart-wrenching and sad, and I loved every second of it.
Yeah, it was a real mess.
It was so dramatic.
Yeah.
And it's so weird because, like, you're hearing Scott's heart break over and over and over, but it's also, like, you keep wanting him to like, get these wins, and watching him struggle to make small, tiny victories becomes, like, this really big thing. Like, every small mission that he's like, we succeeded, we're like, yes, he survived an XCOM mission. Not everyone died, and it's like this. It's this big moment of like victory after overcoming all of these almost impossible seeming odds that only feel worse and worse. So like there's suffering in it, but that suffering makes its own art and is beautiful. And so I can't wait for this Wednesday. I hope there's another chapter to the saga.
Yeah, he sounded very broken and defeated, especially after the way that last mission went, where it went from a 3-on-1 in Scott's favor to very quickly being a 3-on-1 against him, and, you know, losing Review Bra and Ray Sipe at the same time was pretty crushing for us, I think. But yeah, the archive of that is up now. You should go check that out. You should check out the whole series because it's been really good. What else? If you want to support the website, you can do so at Patreon, patreon.com/VGCC. We've got some more stuff going up on there soon. I think there's a
lot of goodies going up on there.
Yeah, they're doing another anime podcast soon, I believe.
Yep.
Some more stuff is going to be hitting there early in the coming weeks. We got some stuff on its way to the website. I believe Rose and Janie both have some pretty interesting articles in the works. We've got review season starting, so in the next few weeks we're going to have reviews for Red Dead, for Hitman, for a bunch of other stuff. You know, the big stuff is hitting now, so it's going to be a busy couple of months. We could really use your support. If you like the site, if you like the podcast, we would really appreciate it. If you want to hang out with us and with the other listeners and friends of the site, you can find us on Discord. Just type thegamezone.zone into your favorite web browser and it will take you there. Maybe not if you're using Tor. I don't know how Tor works, but I'm sure like the people using Naver Whale can still get to us through that URL. VideoGameChooChoo.com, of course, or hailtotheking.baby, MrPolice.fun, Borat.club. They all work. They all take you to us.
Hell yes.
Yeah. What else? And we want to thank Magic Circuit for our theme tune. They used to be known as Melt Channel. You can find their stuff at meltchannel.bandcamp.com or soundcloud.com/magic-circuit. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
Solon.
I'll see y'all next week. The live stream starts on Friday at twitch.tv/SolanFace, and we're going to be streaming for 36 hours bad Wii games. We're going to compete to see who's the best at the worst.
Yeah.
And so all of that is to support TakeThis.org, an organization that supports mental health awareness.
That's right. It's important.
That's everything that's going on my end. Love y'all.
Thank you for joining me, Solon. This was fun.
Thank you.
All right, that's the show. We'll see you next week.
Play that funky music.